General Hospital. Cassius had spent months convincing everyone around him that he was exactly who he claimed to be. Calm, confident, and always one step ahead, he managed to build trust throughout Port Charles while quietly hiding a past that could destroy everything he had worked for. But secrets never stay buried forever, especially in a town where every lie eventually finds its way into the light. The atmosphere changed the moment Sidwell walked into the room. His expression alone suggested he knew something that no one else did. Rather than making threats or raising his voice, he simply revealed a series of facts that forced everyone present to question everything they believed about Cassius. At first, nobody wanted to believe him. Cassius had earned the confidence of several key people, and many were unwilling to accept that his identity might have been built on deception. Friends exchanged uncertain looks, while enemies watched with quiet satisfaction, sensing that the truth was finally beginning to surface. Sidwell remained remarkably composed as he explained that the man everyone knew as Cassius had carefully erased parts of his history long before arriving in Port Charles. Every move had been calculated. Every relationship had served a purpose. The identity he carried was only one piece of a much larger puzzle. The room fell silent. Questions immediately followed. Why had Cassius come to Port Charles? Who had helped him? How many people already knew the truth? Cassius realized he had only seconds to decide whether to deny everything or finally tell his side of the story. Instead of responding immediately, he slowly looked around the room, studying every familiar face. Some appeared disappointed. Others seemed confused. A few looked genuinely concerned. Finally, Cassius admitted there was more to his story than anyone realized. He explained that years earlier he had been forced into circumstances that required him to disappear from his former life. Powerful people were searching for him, and creating a new identity had become the only way to survive. Every decision he made afterward was driven by fear rather than ambition. Not everyone accepted his explanation. Sidwell quickly argued that survival was only part of the story. According to him, Cassius continued hiding the truth long after the danger had passed. Instead of coming clean, he allowed friendships to grow stronger while keeping everyone in the dark. That accusation hit harder than anything else. Trust, once broken, is incredibly difficult to rebuild. News of the confrontation spread through Port Charles almost instantly. Conversations erupted everywhere as residents debated whether Cassius deserved another chance or whether every relationship he had formed was based on deception from the very beginning. Some believed people should be judged by who they are now instead of who they used to be. Others believed honesty should never have been optional. The town quickly divided into two very different opinions. Meanwhile, Cassius quietly reflected on every decision that had brought him to this point. Looking back, he realized that every lie had required another lie to protect it. What began as a temporary solution eventually became a permanent way of living. He never intended to hurt anyone. But intentions could no longer erase the consequences. Sidwell wasn't interested in sympathy. He believed the truth needed to come out completely, regardless of how many lives it affected. In his view, unfinished secrets were even more dangerous than the original deception. His determination suggested there could still be additional information waiting to emerge. That possibility worried nearly everyone connected to Cassius. As more questions surfaced, several familiar faces began reviewing past events from an entirely different perspective. Conversations that once seemed ordinary suddenly carried new meaning. Unexpected meetings, mysterious disappearances, and unexplained decisions all appeared connected in ways no one had recognized before.
Each memory added another layer to the growing mystery. Cassius understood that rebuilding trust would require more than apologies. He would have to demonstrate through his actions that the person standing before everyone now was different from the man who first arrived in town. The challenge would not be easy. Some friendships might never recover. Some alliances would certainly disappear, and a few people might never forgive him. Still, he chose not to run. For the first time in a long while, Cassius accepted that facing the truth was less painful than continuing to hide from it. Whatever consequences followed, they would finally be based on honesty rather than illusion. Sidwell watched carefully, wondering whether this moment represented genuine change or simply another carefully planned performance. Only time would reveal the answer. As Port Charles continued processing the shocking revelations, one thing became clear. Nothing would return to the way it had been before. Every relationship had been tested. Every loyalty had been questioned. Every secret had become vulnerable. The ripple effects of one hidden identity reached far beyond Cassius himself, influencing people who had never imagined they would become part of his complicated past. With so many unanswered questions remaining, residents could only wait to discover whether redemption was still possible, or whether the damage had already gone too far to repair. One revelation transformed the future of Port Charles, proving once again that in a town built on complicated histories, even the smallest hidden truth can change everything. What do you think happens next? Can Cassius earn back the trust he lost, or has Sidwell's revelation permanently changed the future of Port Charles? Share your thoughts in the comments, and if you enjoy original General Hospital-inspired stories and discussions, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more updates.